And gentlemen, in accordance with the call of the Religio Philosophical Society located at this place, you have assembled from various parts of the great Northwest to participate in the intellectual, moral, and spiritual exercises of the sixth annual festival of the Society, a society that was organized upon the broadest basis of the recognition of individual rights of the freedom of thought and the sovereignty of each human being to think, to speak, and to set up to the highest light beaming into his inmost soul. This society was the first to establish this broad and free platform and publish it to the world. A little more than 5 years has elapsed, and now hundreds of other societies have been organized upon the same upon the same broad platform under the same articles of association, many under the same name, and all the same staunch advocates and friends of human progress. While recognizing the fact that man, by nature, is a religious being, we feel that a phase of religion that will not stand the test of philosophy, science, and enlightened reason is unworthy the free-born minds of the last half of the 19th century. The inauguration of these principles as a basis of action was a foreshadowing of a new era on the earth. Violent has been the opposition of timid souls who could conceive of no higher principles for spiritualists to be governed by than the revamping of some old sectarian formula. But the true philosopher and clear thinker has boldly said, "Give us a system of religion that will stand the test of science or none at all. Let individual rights in matters of faith be deemed sacred, and let no body of men and women presume to prescribe articles of faith for individuals. Let all who can conscientiously unite in the great work of human emancipation and elevation do so, and with equal freedom withdraw from fellowship whenever it may become their pleasure to do." These principles haven't to be have but to be presented to the soul who is divested of sectarian trammels to be appreciated and loved. They are such as meet the approval of the angelic hosts and such as are taught to earth's children on their entrance into the spirit world. They soften the human heart and elevate all in the scale of humanity. There is a natural repugnance in the minds of reformers to all forms of organization, or rather a timidity that causes us to hesitate and prefer no form, for fear that any that may be presented may partake of old church formulas so far as to, in some degree, impose burdens and restrictions upon individual rights. This is a wise caution. No one dreads, I utterly abhor such burthens and restrictions more than your speaker. Articles which constitute the basis of this organization have wisely guarded against any power in the society in any particular to infringe upon the individual rights of its members, either in faith or otherwise. These features have induced many spiritualists in the different parts of the country to adopt and to organize under them. It is a combination of individuals for the purpose of inaugurating and conducting facilities for intellectual, moral, and spiritual growth upon philosophical and scientific principles, thus giving a basis of character that shall leave our religious nature to unfold entirely free from sectarian influences, a spontaneous outgrowth of man's religious nature, un, untrammeled by preconceived opinions of bigots or logical systems of faith. We present a broad and free platform to the world and invite all classes and phases of faith to compare notes, knowing that truth will stand the closest scrutiny. Never was there in a time in the world's history when such a platform was so loudly called for as at the present. The first nation in general intelligence on the face of the globe has just passed through the trying struggle which has demonstrated that man is capable of self government. The founders of this republic, by divine inspiration, proclaimed that great truth, but it has ever been denied by the aristocrats of the old world and in practice by the same class at home. What has been demonstrated in the terrible struggle our beloved country has just passed through must now be carried into actual practice, and it becomes all reformers to unite their energies in diffusing light and knowledge among the masses, and are to it that all are protected in their individual rights in the reconstruction of the noble fabric founded by our fathers and now reestablished and purified by the blood of their sons. In union, there is strength. Let us, reformers of every grade and phase of faith, unite with the angelic hosts of the higher spheres and do our whole duty at this uh, critical hour. Let us present broad and free platform that shall hold sacred and dispense to each and every human being the same rights and privileges claimed by ourselves. Let us bear aloft the standard of equal rights for all. Let us disseminate light and knowledge throughout the world. Let us extend the hand of charity to the downtrodden and oppressed everywhere. Let our motto be the unfoldment and elevation of human character now and forever. E.V. Wilson took the floor and spoke of the spread of spiritualism in the South, and the opening there presented for speakers, but remarking they would find it a hard road to travel. In conference, he was followed by Dr. Morrison of McHenry's. He spoke of the infinite powers of progression of the human soul, with some personal remarks to the effect that he was now before the public as a speaker. Something. Mrs. Teft of Elgin III gave some touching personal experiences and her progress in our faith. Mr. Dayton of Hunty then took the floor. He said, "If the world does misrepresent us, what of it? I have seen both sides of society, the high and the low, and in the next world, I have clairvoyantly seen the lowly poor become guardians to the higher classes. Little do we know for what we are being prepared in the world beyond." Conference adjourned till 8 o'clock p.m. Then opening in conference, Dr. Coonley called attention to one of the various phases of spiritualism, namely that of healing persons at a distance, relating several remarkable instances of the power in his own experiences, and said further that his power was greater in some localities than in others. At one locality, Tyrone, Penn, he had this power to a wonderful extent. Also at Hannibal, Missouri, Reverend J.O. Barrett of Eau Claire, maybe Wisconsin, took the floor and spoke the reconstruction of the church, saying that there were certain phases of spiritualism with which he was in sympathy and certain others with which he was not, that he looked upon spiritualism as a disintegrating power, but that he thought the time had come when all reformers of whatever name could act together, that we needed a grand eclectic church. He had been writing to many reformatory speakers to engage them in the same enterprise, and that they proposed to hold a convention at Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, the 18th of July, and that he wished spiritualism to be represented there, as well as universalism, Unitarianism, Swedenborgians, and all other liberal elements. My family was uni- Unitarians. No. E.V. Wilson then spoke E.V. Wilson then spoke favoring disintegration until all superstitious veneration for the past was broken down and people could look upon the Bible as upon any other book, declaring himself still an in, iconoclast and that there was work still for the iconoclast to do. Hold on. I was reading. This is pretty wild. This is neat. I'm right here.